The text opens by saying this phenomenon is emanating from that continent, which we assume is South America.
Right.
And it describes it as a native ascent. That word ascent really stuck out to me. It sounds so, I don't know, ambitious.
I think it's foundational. Ascent implies it's rising up from the soil, from the grassroots. It's not some imported culture. It's the indigenous expression just bubbling up until it overflows.
And the text says the consequence of that is that it has surely the world's ear it bent.
Bending the ear, it's a visceral image.
It is. It's not just that the world listened politely. It's like the world had no choice. The rhythm just grabbed the global consciousness and twisted it towards the music.
Exactly. It demands attention. But what I found really compelling is that the source argues the hook isn't just auditory, it's visual.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it describes the physical effect on the dancer, the sleek footwork, the magnificent stance.
A magnificent stance. That sounds like more than just, standing up straight.
Oh, it is. I mean, think about the posture in Latin dance. It's proud. The chest is open. The spine is long. You're asserting your presence in the space.
And the text suggests this puts the standing observers into a trance.
A trance. You're locked in. It transcends just being entertainment and becomes a form of mesmerism.
So you're watching someone with this incredible stance doing this sleek footwork and you're just hypnotized.
Yeah. But the document doesn't let us stay in that general trance for long. It immediately starts breaking down the specific, let's say, flavors of this trance, starting with a real heavy hitter, the tango.
This section felt heavy. The tone shifts completely here. It links the tango explicitly to bowed strings and the piano accordion.
The bandoneon.
The bandani, right. But the description is so specific. Why focus on just those two instruments?
Because they breathe. A violin, the bowed string, can scream or can weep. And the accordion, it literally breathes. It relies on air being squeezed in and out, a lot like the human chest.
Ah.
The tango is a dance of, desperation and longing, and the instruments reflect that kind of respiratory distress.
That makes the movement description even more interesting. The text calls out gyrating moves, but then immediately says they're choreographed.
And that's the tension of tango.
But doesn't choreographed kind of kill the vibe? I mean, if I'm just counting steps, 1, 2 sideways stepping, doesn't that just remove all the passion?
No, not at all. In fact, I'd argue the structure is what creates the pressure cooker for the passion. If you're just flailing around, the energy dissipates.
Okay, I see.
But because you're confined to this strict technical choreography, the emotion has nowhere to go but between the partners. The text says this structure engenders its many swings. The emotional swing comes from the technical constraint.
So the cage makes the beast fiercer.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Well, and the tango is the cage. The next section feels like someone just left the door wide open. We move to the cha-cha.
A total release valve.
Yeah, the text shifts from that trance we talked about to amusement. Amusement for all.
It's vital. You can't sustain the tragic intensity of tango all night long. Culturally, you need a break. The cha-cha is that break.
The movement description changes too. Sideways, stepping to the wings. It just feels so much lighter.
It is lighter. It's flirtatious. Tango can be predatory. Cha-cha is more like the chase. It's playful. The text does mention sensuality, but it pairs it with amusement. It's not life or death anymore. It's a game.
And speaking of games, the text takes a sharp turn into what sounds like a full-blown party. We're leaving the ballroom and hitting the streets.
We're a very rowdy club. We get into samba and mambo.
The soundscape is the first thing to change. No more weeping violins. Now we have sporadic whistling and the beating of drums.
And that whistle is just iconic.
It is, but the text gets very anatomical here. It says the samba plucks movement of bums.
It's direct, isn't it?
Extremely. But beyond the obvious rhyme, what is the source actually telling us about the movement?
It's shifting the center of gravity.
Yeah.
In, like, a European waltz, the upper body is stiff and the feet do the work. But in samba, all the kinetic energy comes from the hips and the glutes. It's an earthier, more grounded movement.
And apparently that grounded movement is causing some issues on the sidelines. The text introduces these incredulous mums.
This is one of my favorite little sociological snapshots in the whole document.
It paints such a clear picture. You've got the daughters on the floor, and the mothers are just watching in absolute shock.
Incredulous.
Yeah.
They literally cannot believe what they're seeing. I mean, you have to imagine the generational context here. You have mothers who were likely raised in a much more conservative tradition,
Right.
watching their daughters embrace this African-influenced, polyrhythmic, hip-centric kind of liberation. It's a culture clash happening in real time.
And the daughters aren't alone. They're moving to Mambo with their chums.
Their peers. It's a whole generation kind of solidifying its identity against the incredulous older one.
And there's a little hint that this courage to shock their moms isn't entirely sober. The text says this enjoyment is surfaced by drinking 2 rums.
The specificity matters. 2 rums.
Why 2?
Well,
The native ascent climbs physically. We go up into the Andes.
and the atmosphere changes completely. We go from the humidity of the tropics to the thin, cold air of the mountains to the cueca.
And the instrument is described as a primitive organ, the pipes of the pan.
Primitive here is such an interesting word choice. I don't think the author means simple in a bad way. I think it implies something more like primordial.
Like the original.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The panpipes, the zamponia, they sound like the wind itself. It's an instrument that connects you directly to the
The
environment.
environment really seems to be the main character in this part. We're not in a club. The text talks about altitude winds, the Andean man, and it mentions something I hadn't connected to dance before, a great tan.
It's a small detail that just validates the whole setting. At high altitude, the UV index is just off the charts. The wind and the sun burn the skin. The Andean man is literally shaped by the elements.
And his dance reflects that.
Absolutely. The text says he is happy to just worship the sun. In the samba section, the joy was about social rebellion and your chums. Here, the joy is elemental, it's spiritual,
It feels more solitary.
or at least more vertical man and sky compared to the horizontal connection of the mambo.
We don't stay at that high altitude for very long, though. The text brings us south of the border to a mood that is soft and mellow, the bolero.
The bolero is the come down.
It's described as appealing to the average fellow. Does that mean it's, like, boring?
I think it just means it's accessible. You don't need the acrobatic hips of the samba or the lung capacity for the high Andes. It's democratic. And the movement described is cheek to cheek.
And blowing like a bellow.
That image struck me. A bellow is used to stoke a fire, right? It expands and it contracts.
So it's the breathing again?
Yes, but unlike the sharp, almost gasping breath of the tango, this is a deep, rhythmic, shared breath. When you're cheek to cheek, you can't help but synchronize your breathing with your partner. It's an intimate biological connection. Soft and mellow isn't boring. It's deeply comforting.
Comforting until the mariachi shows up.
The transition in the text is so abrupt, the ranchera.
This part is a little cryptic. The text says, envy that's yellow signals a racy ranchera. I stopped on yellow envy. We always say green with envy. Why yellow?
It's a fascinating choice. In some literary traditions, yellow is associated with sickness, with bile, with jaundice. Green envy is about wanting what someone else has, maybe their status or money. But yellow envy feels more toxic, more visceral.
Like betrayal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which fits the racy description. Ranchera music is storytelling music. It's often about heartbreak, affairs, the drama of rural life. It's the telenovela of the musical world.
And the sound cue for that drama is striking the bell low.
A deep, resonant toll. It's ominous. It signals that the stakes are high. We're not just cheek to cheek anymore. We're in a story of passion and maybe a little danger.
From the drama of the ranch, we finally hit the coast. The tropics. The text name drops Caracas.
And of course, rhymes it with maracas.
I think that's mandatory in poetry law, but this section covers the really hot dances, salsa, merengue, cumbia, and the description of salsa is intense. It says it will make your body quake.
Quake. I mean, think about that word. An earthquake. It's uncontrolled. It's a tremor that starts deep in your core. The text connects this to tropical warmth, suggesting again that the geography dictates the physiology.
You move differently in the heat. Your muscles are looser.
The energy is more volatile. Then we get merengue, which the text claims is a joy none can fake.
Have you ever tried to dance merengue while you're sad?
I don't think it's physically possible.
It really isn't. The 2/4 is like a march, but a joyous one. It just compels movement. And the text notes a practical application too, keeping most people awake.
Which is funny, but also true. It's an energy shot.
But then we get to cumbia, and the text gives us a warning. It says most people dare to attempt it.
Dare implies a gamble,
A risk.
and the gamble seems to be related to your clothes. The text mentions keeping some garments and dance not too bare.
It's a humorous observation on the vigor of the dance.
Is it just a wardrobe malfunction joke? I think it's a bit deeper than that. It's about the line between performance and exposure. Cumbia can be incredibly rapid, very intricate. The garments line highlights the risk involved. You're pushing your body to the limit of control.
So the dare is, can you maintain this intense energy without everything just falling apart?
Exactly. Without the dance becoming too bare, which could mean too chaotic or, literally too revealing.
It's that balancing act again, like the tango's cage.
Yeah.
You want the fire, but you have to keep it contained so it doesn't burn the house down.
Or lose your shirt.
Right. So we've gone all over this map. We've seen the jealous ranchera, the spiritual cuica, the rebellious samba. But the author, Pseudo Vanderwit, doesn't leave us on the dance floor. The final stanza zooms out. It gets philosophical.
This was the aha moment for me. The text shifts from description to synthesis.
Yeah.
It basically asks, why do we do any of this? Why do we quake and gyrate and risk wardrobe malfunctions?
And it uses the phrase, moving the human frame with veracity.
Voracity, hunger. It suggests a starving need. We don't dance because it's a nice hobby. We dance because we are hungry for life.
To demonstrate capacity.
Right. To prove that the human frame can do this. That we aren't just static beings. We have the capacity for this incredible complex motion.
But the crucial ingredient, according to the text, is partner complicity.
Complicity. I love that word choice. It's usually used in a negative way, like complicit in a crime.
Yeah, like accomplices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here, it reframes the whole partnership. You and your partner are co-conspirators. You're plotting together to create this moment of rhythm. You have to agree to the shared delusion of the dance.
If one person isn't complicit, the whole thing just falls apart.
It's just two people bumping into each other.
And then, the conclusion. The text defines this entire spectrum of dance as a social act of tenacity.
Tenacity, grit, persistence.
And the goal of that tenacity, designed to reach a degree of felicity.
Felicity, pure happiness.
This is the equation I really want to dig into. Tenacity equals felicity.
It's an inversion of how we usually think about joy, isn't it?
It is. Usually we think, I'm happy, so I'm go dance.
It's a spontaneous expression of a feeling you already have.
But this text is saying the opposite. It's saying dance is hard work. It requires tenacity. It requires sweating through the tropical warmth, risking the yellow envy, mastering the choreographed steps. It's a struggle, but the result of that struggle is happiness.
You don't dance because you're happy. You dance to become happy.